Okay, so many of you will be familiar with the dynamic scoreboard that we had running in the Eire Cup. The purpose of this was to make it so that people could keep up to date with the scores on each lawn, where the information was updated dynamically as hoops were made. And this was particularly useful from a commentary position because we could actually cover the excitement of the whole event, not just the game that we were showing with the video cameras. So the key thing is that we've got people at each lawn updating every time a hoop is scored, and that information appears on this spreadsheet here in real time. So it's something to talk about, it's something that keeps everybody up to date, and it's really quite straightforward to do. So there are two basic units. There's a court template, which is given to each of the people that are recording on the lawns, and there's the master scoreboard, which brings everything together. So I'm going to make a new page here, and I'm going to put in the address of the court template. Now, the first thing I need to do is save this as a new document. It's only a template at the moment. It's only read only, view only. In order to save it, you have to be logged into your Google account. So I'm going to save this by making a copy, and I'm going to call it Ken Lee Lawn 6. And now it doesn't matter what you call it at all. It's almost irrelevant what you call it. However, your spy or you should change the title of the lawn in this green box here. So I'm just going to call it Lawn 6. And then we're going to set up the players who are actually playing and which code they're playing as well. Now, the really nice thing that Mark has done here is he's made it so that you can have either AC or GC games. You can even have AC and GC games on the same lawn. You can have singles, you can have doubles. Very flexible. So let's imagine that we've got this game of AC between Keith Wiley and Pete Landreeb, and they're playing Robert Fletcher and Rosie Landreeb. And Keith is playing the red ball, so we put an R in this little column here, and as soon as we hit return, that turns everything there red. So Pete is obviously playing with the yellow balls. Robert's going to be playing with the blue, so that's a U for blue and K for black. So that's our pairing here. Now at the moment, no one's scored any hoops, so we're just going to make it so that all the clip positions are one for everybody. So the score there is 0-0. We can put a start time in. Now the time at the moment on my computer is 12 minutes past 4. So I'm going to start this game. I'm going to say this game started at 1600 hours. And that means that because the limit is 2¾ hours, we've still got 2 hours and 33 minutes left. So a bit of a tense start. No one's really won the opening there to begin with. Oh, it just so happens that Keith is up to hoop 4. So Pete and Keith are 3 up at the moment. Now, bizarrely, on the same lawn, we could have a game of GC, and you'll notice when we have a game of GC, the scores are just entered into these boxes here. So might say that Robert is 3 up against Chris in that game. But if we change this to AC, then it'll reset so we don't actually have to type in the ones to put the clip position there, and the score is 0-0. Actually, let's set up a game where Robert and Chris are playing Jenny Clark as well, but Robert's playing both the pink and the white. Chris and Jenny are black, brown and green. That game hasn't started yet, so that game will just leave the time as it is. So that's what our the person who is looking after the lawn, the spy, as we'll call them, is doing. They're, they've got a mobile phone or an iPad, something like that, and all they're responsible for is this. So the moment someone makes a hoop, so let's imagine Robert has just made a little bit of a break, he's on hoop 5, that just gets adjusted there. So all that they're doing is keeping every time a hoop is scored by somebody, they're just updating this spreadsheet. Don't have any responsibility for any other spreadsheet. It's totally self-contained. They can't make a mess of anything else. Now, the next thing we're going to need is the master scoreboard. So to get that, we go into a new window, and this time we paste the link for the scoreboard template. And it looks like a bit of a dog's breakfast at the moment because what this relies on is making references to the individual lawn worksheets, the individual spreadsheets that contain the lawn information that we saw a minute ago. So because we're logged in, we can make a copy of this, and we're going to call it Big Tournament. And we make a copy of that. And just so that we don't get confused, I'm actually going to get rid of that scoreboard template that I brought up earlier. Now I'm going to give this tournament a name. I'm going to call it Big World Championships. And the really key thing that I have to do now is I have to make a link to the lawn that we set up earlier. So this Canley Lawn 6. Now to do that, we simply copy the URL of that, but missing out the edit/bit at the end. And then in here, we paste, and then on the top cell here, we go allow access, and that will now make the link between this worksheet and the Canley Lawn 6 worksheet. So in the time that it's taken me to do this, it turns out that Pete got in, and Pete has gone round to 4 back. That was a very quick break by Pete. So the Keith and Pete are now 12 hoops. And if we go to the master spreadsheet, we'll see that's been updated there. And the time has also been updated and everything else. So everything here is now dynamic. Everything's referring to that child worksheet here. Now, of course, the key thing is I want to make more lawns. So I can either put the court template link in again. So let's do that. Let's go and grab the court template one. We'll make a copy of this, and we'll call it Canley Lawn 7. So I'll make a copy of that. And this time I've got Jane Bloggs playing Fred Smith. And I am going to have, we'll make this an AC game as well. And we'll make it so that it's Mary Jones playing Jane Smith. I'm not very good at thinking of names, am I? And let's imagine that this game's already got to penultimate, and that's the score there. Tempe Lawn 1. So what I'm going to obviously need to do eventually is copy this link and put that into the master spreadsheet, into the master scoreboard. But before I do that, I'm going to make a spot for it. So I'm going to go to the Big World Championships scoreboard, and I'm going to copy this block that represents a lawns activity. So I'm going to copy that block there, and I'm going to paste it somewhere. Let's pop it there. At the moment, it's still referring to lawn 6, but to make it refer to lawn 7, and let's actually make this lawn 7 here. To make it refer to lawn 7, I'm going to copy this link here, and I'm going to paste it into this spot here, and I'll need to recreate the access. But now I've got 2 lawns. I've got lawn 6 and lawn 7. Now why has that gone to there? I wonder. Kenley lawn 7. Did I pick the right one? Perhaps I didn't. Let's go and grab that one and take it to the big tawny and hit return. And now we're properly on lawn 7. So that's all you do now. Every time you want to add a new lawn, you go to the template, you save it as in Google Sheets language, you make a copy, and then your spy fills in the players, what colors they are, what time the game starts, and they're independent from that moment on. That you're the person who's monitoring the activity on that lawn is now just responsible for what they're doing. And what they're doing is feeding through to your master scoreboard, and the way that you make the connection between your master scoreboard and the children scoreboard, where this children scores where all your spies are, is simply by copying this block and changing the link. And now, as every spy and on every court is continually updating, everything is changing on here as well. So fantastic for broadcast, fantastic for linking to croquet scores to give people a sense of the dynamism of what's happening in a tournament, and quite easy to set up. Now, Mark has made some incredible pre-filled versions of this for competitions where the structure and the order of play is quite well predefined, and we can show you that in another video. Now the template links are in the notes field of this video. Please do have a go. Let us know how you go. So thanks very much for that, and we'll see you later.